3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Stature right here. So I'm gonna tell you guys about a trip I went on about about a few weeks ago, about a month ago. We went on a trip to Austin over spring break, and it was really fun. So I'm gonna show you, do a little slideshow of the pictures I got from it. So first of all, this was a Friday, April 5th. Woke up very early, got to the airport, San Diego airport. Got some nice long exposure shots on the planes. You can see Southwest plane right there. And then these are always fun to see in the wild. Special livery. We got Maryland 1. That's pretty sick. Like, the shot looks really good with the gold lights and stuff like that. But yeah. And we got through security, boarded the plane. I sat in the very front row, so we got the good leg room, right? Although it was a bit of a double-edged sword because they made me put up my camera for the takeoff, so I wasn't able to get the best shots because I had to use my phone. Although my phone's really good. My phone has a pretty good camera, so I don't know. At least I got some good shots. And so, yeah. Actually, my phone does actually take pretty good pictures. I mean, it's not the best. It's not as good as my SLR, but it still looks really good. Like, it was really cool. Like, right as the sunset, or sunrise. Right as the sunrise, you can see it looks really golden. It was raining a bit too. It's interesting. Now, I do kind of wish I'd gotten on the other side of the plane. That would have been cool because there was a rainbow on the other side. I didn't get that, but this shot is pretty sick too. Pretty lit. We got the shadows and stuff. Pretty cool. And then also, with sitting in the front, I was able to get a straight on of the runway, which is fun. And here is our takeoff. Film the takeoff. A little bit. There we go. Got the United plane over there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, those look really cool. Good. Here we go. There we go. Oh, it's a really nice view. And then right after this video, let me go back into full screen mode. I took this. I got this shot. This is a really cool shot I got of San Diego Bay. The bay, we got it right there. We got this going right through this right side of the frame. We increased the contrast. Man, that is such a cool shot. I'm very proud of this one. Then climbed above the clouds. That was really nice. Looked very pretty. Went to the desert. You can see some of the dunes. I think it's Imperial County where we are. Right, New Mexico. Got some more nice landscapes. And then we crossed into Texas. I think this is Lake Travis, I want to say. Right? Another airport, right? And then crossing into Austin. Coming into land, descending into Austin. You can see the suburbs right there. Really cool. And here's our landing. Skip ahead a little bit. I don't want to too long. So there we go. Here's the runway. Let's see. Check it out. Yeah, let's see how good this landing is. Yeah, a little bit. Not too bad though. There's a 727. That's cool. Oh yeah, I use it as a firefighting
Wasn't too
aircraft.
bad.
So that's kind of fun to see as an aviation air. You can't really see those anymore. Also, I forgot to add this to the slideshow. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up right here. Where are we? When did I get that? There we go. Okay. Got a little picture inside the cockpit of the airplane. Because this is cool, because we got to get into the cockpit of a 737 MAX. Luckily, it wasn't too... Flight was really good. It didn't go... We didn't have any doors blowing off or any of the other bullshit that happens, but we got a nice view of the cockpit. You know, you can see we got new tech and stuff like that. Arrived at Austin Airport, got some pictures of some of the cool... We have some cool sculptures there. Well, I don't know what to call those, but got guitars, because, you know, Austin is music city, right? They got whatever this is. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. And so we came, so we went to Andy Sharon's house for a bit. Oh, yeah, so I'm going to see if we can find it right here. So, reason why I was going to Austin is because I'm going to see, this is my Auntie Sharon, right here, and then my cousin Ashlyn. They're both pretty fun people to hang around. That was my cat. But yeah, Sandy Sharon, cousin Ashlyn. I hadn't seen them in about 4 years at that point, because the last time I saw them was Christmas before pandemic. I'll link you to that video. But yeah, pretty cool. And so after that, in the evening, we went to Chewy's, which is a pretty cool restaurant. They have a lot of stuff. Pretty sick. And I got a lot of food. We kind of ate outside, although that was a bad idea because it was really windy, but it wasn't too bad. And then afterwards, we drove out. We were driving home. And we passed this cool field of bluebonnets. That was really cool. Got some nice pictures of those. And then after that, went a little walk at a little preserve near their house. So you got a nice lake, nice sunset on the lake. That's really cool with the reflection. And then we walked on the jetty, walked on the levee. Right, we're not landlocked. Well, no, it's not landlocked, but we're not near the ocean. Yeah, this is Sandy Sharon. We got a nice picture of her and the dog. What was her name again? Dog's name? I don't know. But, yeah. And then I got a nice liminal shot, right? As it got dark. You can see. That's fun. And then the next day, April 6th, 2024, kind of in the evening, we drove into the city, and then you can see we got the cool stuff right here. We got the Owl Building, you know, that's iconic. We got another building, and I think this is like a famous what is this called? I forgot what does it say? The Dry Shill? Sorry, it was like, I think this is a famous hotel. I forgot the name of it, but I'm trying to read it. I don't know. You can correct me. That's okay. And then there's a lot of theaters in downtown Austin. You can see we've got State Theater, Paramount Theater, and then the fuck's the name? Spearsky. They got some nice murals right here. We got this one right here. This is pretty cool. And they got a bunch of these ones. And then this guy, this is, I think his name was Paul Hernandez, I want to say, if I remember correctly, who is an activist in the kind of movement. Pretty cool. Yeah, Austin is definitely for all. It's very cool, right? And then the fun part was we got to go up and check out the Capitol. We got to go to the Austin State Capitol, and I wasn't unsure. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to go in it, but we were. It was actually open to the public, which was fun. And so we got to go in and see the cool stairs. Got stairwells. I got a bunch of pictures of the inside. You can see we got like the rotunda looks really cool. It's really cool. And then this is the best shot I got. I am so proud of this shot. This is so cool because it goes right through. Looks like it's in a spaceship or some crazy stuff. Looks like cool. Got right through a star. That's nice. And then, so last time I went, we got to go inside the Senate Gallery, but this time it wasn't because it wasn't in session at the time. Although I did do this. Sneaking into a closed government space. What do we got here? We got a door. We got... Hopefully I don't piss anyone off. Can't see shit. I wish you could see some. Okay, there you go. You have a better view. You can see some stuff in here. Sneaking into a closed... That's pretty funny, right? And this is me and Auntie Sharon. Nice. But the real reason why we had gone downtown was because of my Uncle Gary, who's this guy right here. This is another picture I have of him. But he's a nice lad. He's a pretty cool lad. He's from England. And he the main thing what he does is he's one of the main guys at ACL Live, which is a big music venue in Austin. And, you know, he's done a lot of stuff in the music industry. He's worked there for, like, many years. But guess who was playing on that night? And we were going to get to go see, because, you know, we had connection to him. We got to go in to see Bob freaking Dylan. Yeah. Pretty big deal. And so, also, right after, I got this shot of the tour bus, one of the tour buses, right? And so, this is Bob Dylan. Now, this was one of those shows where they had you lock up your phone, so I wasn't able to get any pictures of it. So, I just made this, I photoshopped a bunch of pictures from online. So, this is kind of what the show looked like. It didn't have any, like, visual effects or anything. It was just them playing. It was an interesting show. They had a good energy. It was fun. Although, the funny thing is, so I mostly know Dylan for, like, you know, his 60s stuff, you know, his classic stuff. He didn't really play any of those songs. I was a bit surprised. You know, he didn't even play them for an encore, but, yeah. But it was alright. I enjoyed it. It was cool. And it was, like, really cool, like, being able to be like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at, like, literally one of the most iconic figures in American music history. You know, it's cool to look at that and see that. And what was cool was at this gig, as a guest on lead guitar, they got Jimmy Vaughn, who is the brother of Stevie Ray freaking Vaughan, which, that's a big deal, you know. You don't get more Texas than that, you know. But yeah, it was really cool. The band was tight, you know. It was nice. They had good energy. I enjoyed it. It was a good show. And then after that, we got some lasagna. That was some good lasagna, right? And then the next day, April 7th, me, Ashlyn, and Auntie Sharon, we decided to go to Kyle Flea Market. Because I've never been to the flea market. We thought it'd be fun to get some stuff. See, they got stuff outside, inside. Looks pretty cool. The main thing I picked up was, some vinyl records. They actually had, like, one of the guys had kind of like a record store. I also got some from some other places, too. There's one I picked up, Songs of Key Life by Stevie Wonder. Classic record. Alright. Picked up a lot of records, actually. And then I also got, let's see if I can pull this one out. I also got 10 by Pearl Jam. Another classic. And then, so in, like, the little record store part that they had there, one of the guys was playing on a record on the turntable, a record I had never even heard of before, but I thought it sounded really cool, so I decided to buy it. It actually was definitely worth buying. This one's, called Die Alone by this band called Gazebos. I'd never heard of them before, but I thought it sounded good, so I bought it. This is actually a really cool record. It has a very interesting sound. Kind of very proggy, like prog. So, yeah. Right here. But yeah, I actually did get quite a few records from this, from flea market, so that was nice. And then when we got back, me and Ashlyn went on a little walk. Got this nice picture of her and the dog. Yeah, she's fun to be around. And then I got some nice pictures of the trees at the park, you know, very pretty. And then later that evening, Auntie Sharon and I, we drove into the city again. This time we're gonna go see the Bat Bridge. Um, and so first, as we passed by, we saw this. I saw this cool tower. I forgot what it's called, but I got this sick shot of it, like in the sunset. Man, that is really cool. I got it, like right down the middle. It looks pretty cool. This one looks cool. And increasing the contrast, man, when you do that, fire, right? And so we kind of for the Bat Bridge, we kind of were a bit underneath here. You can see, and then of course, this is a pretty big phenomenon. This is pretty big deal in Austin. So there's a lot of people here, going out to see the bats, and then it was a pretty cool sunset too. I got this pretty nice picture of it too, as a sunset, and then I was a bit confused because we couldn't see any bats at first. You can see there's the boats right there going under. They were like shining red light, and I was like wondering why they were doing that. And then I realized, and then they were like illuminating the bats. Now, so this is a previous time I went, which was in August 2017. I was about 10 at the time. You can see it's a clear stream going out from underneath the bridge. Well, this time it wasn't really like that. I whipped out my telephoto. I managed to get, so it's an alright shot. I mean, it was kind of hard to get it like in the dark because I shoot handheld, and with telephoto, you have to move it, like it's like moving a bit, and so I was trying to get to make sure it's not too blurry, but it doesn't look too bad. You can see all the bats right there. Looks pretty cool. But yeah, it wasn't as spectacular as it was last time. And then get a nice picture of the owl building. That looks nice. And then next day was April 8th, 2024. This was probably the most critical day in the whole operation because, as many of you know, this is the day of the eclipse. And this was kind of one of the reasons why I decided to take this trip, was because I wanted to see the eclipse. So, how is the weather going to be like on April 8th, 2024? Oh, actually, it's going to be cloudy. Now, at this point, I'd seen two other eclipses. So this is August 21st, 2017. We kind of saw it through a pinhole. That's what it looked like, recreation of it. And then I saw the one in October of 2023. This was a cool shot I got of it with telephoto. Although I didn't have an eclipse lens, so you can see it's a bit overexposed. So I made sure to get one before we went on this trip. Now, the problem with this day was it was overcast. And you can see, I posted this to my story. Probably the least cringe thing I posted to my story, right? But you can see I'm not happy with the sky. I was like, damn it, that's cloudy. But there was a glimmer of hope, because there were some bright spots in the sky where you could actually see the sun. So what we did is we ended up, we drove around a bit, and we would chase those bright spots, and I would get out of the car and then take some pictures of the sun. And so with that, I actually was able to capture the sequence very well. You can see as it gets closer and closer, it goes, more of the moon starts to cover up the sun. You can see these are all shots I got, and they look really good, actually. They turned out pretty well. However, things went a little wrong when we got to the part where it actually was total eclipse. So at this point, we stopped at this park. I think it was just like south of Austin. And, well, at this point, when it got to total eclipse, the clouds covered it up a bit, and but we did get to see it a bit. But things went a little wrong in the aspect where I was trying to get a picture of it. So let's play the video.
I hate to interrupt. Yes. If you want to go to lunch, you need to wind that down.
Okay, well,
Pause it. Finish it later.
I'll have to finish this set later. Okay, we're back. So yeah, I had to go out to lunch. But anyway, so where are we at now? Okay, we're in the part of the story where things go a bit wrong. Okay, so like I said, we were at this park. We're at this park here, and the eclipse is nearing its totality. And then at that point, it disappeared behind the clouds a bit, and so I couldn't see it for a bit. And then eventually it reappeared, but I made a critical mistake, and I'm going to show you this video. This is what went wrong.
Yeah, I see it.
So I'm a bit confused. I'm looking through the camera because I can't see anything through the camera. It's completely dark. But you can see it on the video. You can see it pretty well. It looks pretty cool.
Did you get a shot, Patrick?
Okay, I'm trying to get a shot.
It's at this moment I realize I f***ed up because I have my Eclipse lens on. And that's going to make the picture too dark because, you know, you're not looking at the actual sun. You're looking at the corona around it. And that's making it too dark to see it. So I try to get it off.
Right here.
Yeah, I see it.
It takes time to do it, though.
Are you videoing it?
Or actually, no. At this point, I didn't have it off. This is when I realized it's off. I think I was like, I don't know what I was doing there, but I was like trying to tighten it or something. I was a bit confused what was going on, but so at this point I realized it's off, and you can see it disappears behind this. Yeah. It was at that moment I knew I f***ed up, you know. My God, I can't believe I fucking tightened it. Is that what I did? Oh my God, it's so fucking obvious now, you know. But you know, at the time, it's not as noticeable. Yeah, it's frustrating. I was pretty frustrated because of that, like, as you can tell, because I'd missed the shot of a lifetime. I missed getting a good shot of the fucking during totality. And I was pretty bummed about that. And yeah, it kind of, wait, no, we're not watching this again. And so, yeah, that's that. But, right afterwards I got this shot. Right here you can see how dark it gets. That's pretty cool. And then, I mean, even if I didn't get a good shot of during totality, at least I got this, you know, and that's a pretty good shot. You know, it shows it right before. That's pretty cool. You know, you can see there's barely any of the sun left and everything. But, yeah, I do wish I had gotten totality. But I wasn't experienced. I didn't really know that much about using Eclipse lenses. And, you know, that's that. And, you know, that's one thing that every photographer learns eventually at one point is, you know, sometimes you don't get the shot, and that's okay. Also, my computer needs to be... whatever. So what do you do after you've seen a solar eclipse, you know, a total solar eclipse for the first time in your life? What do you do after that? Well, for us, what we did after that was we went bowling. And Sharon.
I get it? Oh!
Yeah. You can see, okay, I actually did pretty good on this one, and then, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a score for one of the games, pretty cool. And then we kind of went to the arcade near it. This is Ashlyn on the, looks like a model car thing. It's a nice pic of her, right? And then the next day, April 9th, we decided, me and Auntie Sharon, we decided to go down to San Antonio, and we're going to check a couple places out. But on the way, we had to do one critical checkpoint for any Texas trip. Stop at Buc-ee's. Hell yeah. Buc-ee's is lit. I mean, it's like the most Texas thing ever. It's so cool. You know, we went inside it, got some good stuff. Got one of their nice pulled pork sandwiches. That was good. Yeah. And so as we approached San Antonio, you can see there's the Alamo Dome, which is a weird looking stadium. I don't know. That's like kind of weird looking. And then Tower of the Americas. That's cool. And then as we got into downtown San Antonio, we can see we got nice architecture right there. Looks very pretty. Got some old school stuff. We got a lot of nice sculptures and stuff. Looks like this is good. I think this is like a hotel or something. I'm not sure. And this is good. This is pretty cool too. And then of course we had to do it. The Alamo, which we're definitely gonna remember this part of the trip. I know, bad joke, but anyway, yeah, the Alamo was pretty cool. On the outside they got this cool monument. I think it's like commemorating the people there. And this is inside it. This is inside. It's pretty cool. Interestingly, the ceiling part, I don't think it wasn't there during the when it was during the battle. I think they've added that since then, but still pretty cool, right? And there's a bunch of flags. Pretty cool. And then the brickwork is really cool. Stonework. Yeah, it's cool being in here. And then on the grounds, it's interesting walking through there. You're walking through where one of the most important historical events in American history took place. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, looks like you could do a guided tour, one of those audio tours. We didn't do that though. We just kind of walked around. I got a nice tree right here. There's Andy Sharon, and then there's she and me next to the Alamo. Pretty cool. That was fun. And then after that, we decided to do the check out the San Antonio River Walk. And that's really pretty. We got the boats right here. We didn't end up going on one of those, but it was cool. Got some good shots of that. You can see it's very pretty, very green. And then here's a statue you saw this before. And they got a mall right up here. That's fun. Got some nice bridges. It's really cool. And then here's underneath the bridge. That's really cool. And yeah, they got all the restaurants and stuff. There's looks like a mariachi band. Really nice. And then there's a picture of me posing with this cool art piece. Pretty nice. However, there was one thing about the San Antonio part of this trip that was kind of, well, yeah. 92 degrees out. It was so freaking hot. I mean, holy crap. I mean, I've been to Texas before. I've been to Texas during, July. So I know summers in Texas is no joke. It's hot as hell, right? But, when we went in April to Austin, when we were in Austin, it was warm, but it wasn't too bad. Though when we got down to San Antonio, oh my gosh. I didn't think it would be that big of a difference because it's only an hour away, but holy crap, it was so hot. I was sweating like crazy. Yeah. That's insane. And then we kind of drove back here. And then we got kind of a cool thing happened here. So we got some pretty sick thunderclouds rolling in. I'm going to hit a thunderstorm in a bit. Oh, I got such a cool shot of that, though. Yeah. It's also because when you're photographing clouds, storm clouds like this, if you put, a lot of contrast in it, oh my gosh, those pics look, so sick, right? And here's another one right here. You can see. Man, storm clouds are always, really beautiful. Pretty nice. And then, evening, see, storm coming in. Yeah, and then as night came, thunderstorm rolled in, and it was pretty big. Let's see if we can get the video. Pull it up.
Okay. What do we got here? What do we got here? We got a torrential downpour, not only that, and I don't know what we got here. I don't know what we got in store today. This is crazy. I'm an idiot. I am such an idiot for being here. Like this. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you can see it was pouring very bad. And so, I was kind of trying to get some lightning on camera. It's kind of tricky to do that. It's not too difficult. You basically just, record endlessly until you get something. But I did manage to get a couple shots. You can see it's not very good. I took it on my phone, so it's a little bit, quality's not the best, but you can see got some pretty sick lightning right there. Got some bolts, and then you can see it light up the sky. That looks really cool. But, yeah. And then the next day, April 10th, 2024, we went to Natural Bridge Caverns, which is a huge privately owned set of caves just north of San Antonio. And so it's the outside. They got some cool stuff, right? and then as you enter the cave, you pass under this natural bridge, which is kind of what the name Natural Bridge Caverns comes from. This looks really cool. And then the caves. Holy crap. Those caves were freaking beautiful. I've been in a few caves before, but oh my god, I was not expecting them to be that crazy. So what we got here, in the middle of your screen, we got, this is what they call the Watchtower, and it's a huge freaking formation. And they got some stalactites and stalagmites here. Okay, how's it? Stalactites go up and stalagmites go down. Or is it the other way around? I don't really know, but yeah, you got some stuff right here. Looks very beautiful. Man, limestone caves are freaking lit. Yeah. And you can see there they drip down. Really cool. And they got the nice pools. Those look really cool. It's very dark inside. Well, I mean, it's a cave, no shit. But they have lights, so. But yeah, and also interesting thing about this cave was, usually when I go in caves, they're usually like cold, But this time it was actually really warm. It was actually about 70 degrees, and it was kind of humid. It wasn't too bad though. It wasn't anywhere near how freaking hot it was in San Antonio. But yeah, if you're gonna go to San Antonio, don't go like in any month besides I don't know, December or January or some shit like that. If you're a wuss and can't handle the heat, that's all right. Yeah, and then we got some more pretty formations right here. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That is like crazy. And then here it is. I think they called this Into the Hall of the Mountain King, named after that piece, right? It's very cool. There's so many formations right there. It's got lays, what the hell? But yeah. And then here's some other shots I got right here. Some other portraits. You can see this one going down. And then I got this one because, well, it looks like something, doesn't it? It looks a little, I don't know. What does it look like to you? And then this shot I got is really cool. It's like nice reflection on the water. Oh yeah, and also cool thing is at the end of the tour they had a drinking fountain where you could actually drink some of the cave water. That was really cool. It tasted pretty good. I liked it. And then we drove home after that. Got a pretty good shot here of this Texas flag. Alright, and that's about it at this point, because next day... Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about this. This is their cats. They have some nice cats. Mushi and... I forgot their other names. I kind of forgot names, but they're nice. I like kitties. I like cats. Sorry, Sneaker, I was with another cat. I know you don't like that, but yeah. And then next day, April 11th, was, well, the end of our trip, so... Or the end of my trip, so drove back to the airport. There's a Cybertruck, right? Those are always joke. Now, here is the funny thing, is how many people in our family were traveling on this very day. So here, we got me, this is me at the airport. You can see Austin Airport was like really crowded. You can see I'm like, oh shoot, hope we don't get delayed. We were fine though, it was alright. Though I did forget to empty my water before I go to security, but that's okay. See, it was very crowded. And then, I knew this before hand, but my Nana, Nana Deb, she was coming over. She's flying to San Diego too from Houston, and she was arrived about an hour before I did. And so she was traveling on the same day. And then at the same time, Cooper, my cousin Cooper, who's Ashlyn's older brother, I didn't get to see him, but he and his girlfriend were flying back from Disney World. And then at the same time as that, my granddaddy and Nana Lynn, my granddaddy and my Nana Lynn, my other Nana, they were also flying out of Houston. They're going to Albuquerque, I think, if I remember correctly. And so it was funny because Nana ran into them at the airport. I was just like, what? All of us are flying on the same day? That's crazy. But yeah, that's that. And so here's the plane. Got on the plane. Got another special livery. You got Colorado one, right? And then there was something that did cause me a bit of worry. Well,
Is that right? Yeah, that thing's shaking.
you can see that thing is vibrating a bit. And I'm like, is that right?
Shake hold.
I was a bit worried. I was like, yeah. I was like wondering, if I should tell somebody about it. I didn't end up doing that because I don't know. I just didn't want to cause a fuss. I know I probably should have, but
It's up here.
luckily the plane didn't crash or anything, and takeoff went really
I
well.
should tell somebody, but that thing's moving. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you can see I have a little bit. I'm like, what the hell? Right.
Look at that. That's not right, isn't it? That's not right.
Okay, let's go
Tell
forward a bit.
somebody. We're taking off now.
Try to skip forward a little bit to the takeoff hill.
I'm having a camera, see what happens.
Oh yeah, it's going really bad. You can see there. I was like, is this gonna be a problem? So we take off. Wait for it.
And now it's alright. Now it's better.
I don't know if I'm gonna focus.
Alright, sorry, a little bit.
Yeah, that did cause me a bit of worry, but luckily it was all right. Because as soon as they retracted the flaps, we were good. There's Austin. There's downtown Austin, and then there's a mall. Went to that mall a few years ago, right? And the flight was good. We got some nice mountains right here. Looks like I got some snow on it still. Got a good shot of another plane flying by. Looks like we got a United plane. That's cool. And it's funny, like when you're cruising out to, they just like zoom past you because like in both directions, like relative to your speed, like it's about 1,000 miles an hour, which is crazy. And then there's San Diego mountains.
That's how you get to San Diego. Have a nice little roller coaster ride. Wee.
Yeah, hit a little bit of turbulence.
Wee. Oh, we're gonna piss off. Oh wow, there's the Green Mountains. Yeah, let's get some good shots of that.
Right, and then there we go, San Diego. There's the city of San Diego. On the side where you can see the city. Yeah, pretty cool. And then here's the landing. Skip forward a little bit. Yeah, I moved the phone down a bit first. There we go.
Landing in San Diego. It's a little bumpy. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if he's gonna do this one. It's always fun. Here we go. Landing into. See. And that's nice. Ooh. Oh. Oh yeah. We just. Bounced a bit.
Yeah, so you saw from that we bounced a little bit. We had a little bit of a rough, but I mean, it was kind of bumpy going in, so, you know, I don't really, yeah. And then we got a good shot of Alaska Airlines 737 MAX. You know what this is all about, right? Yeah, everyone's finding that one. Who cares? And then, you know, as soon as I got back at the airport, greeted my Nana. You know, you know, she would be with us for about a week and a half afterward. Yeah, it's funny that we arrived at the same time, around the same time at least. And then here's a little bonus. The day after I got back, my father and I, we went down to Chula Vista Amphitheater, aka North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Went down. We had to go see some punk bands. Also, funny thing about this picture, right? I put it on Wikipedia, so you can see it on there, right? So it is my picture, but it's on Wikipedia. And so we saw Love Crimes, which I've never heard of them before, but they were the opening band. I think they were like a newer punk band. And then we saw classic band Bad Religion, right? They're legendary, you know, and I've known them for a while. My dad's a huge fan of Bad Religion. And then the next band was Social Distortion. I haven't really listened to that much of their stuff, but they were good. All the bands played really well. They were very nice, had good energy. Interesting about Social Distortion is they actually did, they were playing like a song they hadn't recorded before. I forgot what it was called. It was like kind of a ballady song. That was cool. But yeah, the show was good. All the bands had good energy. Crowd had good energy. Although it was interesting being at the amphitheater because you didn't really get to mosh very much because it was like a bigger venue, but that's okay. Although the weirdest part about this whole story, about this concert, was what the fuck was the kid in front of me doing? He's like 19 or something, I don't know. And he's like on his phone. He's like on his phone like this. And he's on fucking ChatGPT the whole fucking time. I'm not joking. He didn't get off it for like, I mean, it may have gone for like 30 seconds at a time, but he was like on it, just like going at his concert. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go on ChatGPT. I'm gonna look at shit. You're using fucking AI. Yeah. Bro, you're at a concert. You pay money to see a concert. You're not even gonna watch the fucking band. Lol. That's a waste of money. And that kid, that is definitely a 21st century digital boy. The end.